So we are back with our Oase HighLine Aquarium, and this is the 600 model. And over the last few weeks and months of running this and using it and having fish in it, it's actually become one of my favourite fish tanks in the house, if not of all time, to be fair. So what makes this aquarium different to the others that I have owned and sold and run over the past 20 odd years? Well, it is one of the most premium aquariums I have ever had. From the kit that you can get with it, from the cabinet to the aquarium, they're just really well thought out products and they are just great. Now, if we start at the bottom of the aquarium on the cabinet, this is probably what most people would think is one of the more mundane or boring things, but they have put so many little things into this cabinet. It just makes it so much easier to use. And the first thing is something that, well, no one really thinks of, and that's leveling the cabinet. Now, leveling the cabinet on most aquariums can be a bit of a nightmare because once you push this in against the wall, those 2 or 3 feet that are across the back of the aquarium that you want to access are fairly hard to get to. Normally, you would use a little spanner or something to get in underneath and undo them and tighten them depending on how you need to level it, but that can be almost impossible. Now, what they have done is popped these little Allen key bolts that you can see here inside the cabinet, and they link up to the feet underneath. So all you need to do is grab an Allen key and you can adjust the feet as much as you need to. Once you're done, chuck the popper over the top so that you don't see the Allen key and you're finished, and that levels your tank for you. And then another thing within the cabinet, which seems like such a small thing, is they have gone right the way around the outside with a bead of silicone. Now, doesn't seem like much, but I know from working in the aquarium shop, one drop of water or a spillage of water inside there, it gets into the edges of the cabinet and it swells up and looks horrible. Now, it won't pick up very easily on camera, but if I just move that out of the way, all the way between this board and this board, you've got a bead of silicone. So if you are a messy sort of fish keeper like I am, and you spill a bit of water or you drop something in here, then that just stops it from getting into this seam and essentially blowing out the cabinet. Now, another small thing about the cabinet, well, actually saying that this isn't that small, this is probably one of my favourite features on here, is that the filter sits on this shelf or drawer. Would you call it a shelf? A drawer, whatever you want to call it. It sits on there and you can pull your entire filter out for easy maintenance. This feature is especially good if you are running one of the Biomaster filters on here. This is a Biomaster Thermo, and what you've got is this is where your piping comes in. So you switch off at the wall, turn this lever here so it shuts off the water, turn this lever here which releases your pre-filter, and then you can lift that one straight out and you do not have to lift the filter at all. You just slide it out on its shelf, lift out the pre-filter, and you're done. I only just cleaned this, and this is why it keeps releasing a little bit of water. I've just put a load of new biomedia in there, but anyway, that's the shelf. Now, there's a few other little features that I like in the cabinet, with like the cable hole coming through the back so you can get all your plugs and cables through there. And then behind the filter, you've actually got some openings at the top and the bottom to be able to move your plugs, sockets, any of your electrics through to the other cupboard. And now, actually thinking about it, that's probably a more sensible idea than running the filter in with the electrics. Do you know what? I might do that at some point, change all my electrics to the other cupboard. And then you've also got a couple of nice metal hooks or pegs or whatever you want to call them to hang towels or nets on inside the cabinet, which again, is just a small thing, but really well thought out. Now, on the 600, you've actually got this middle shelving unit or cupboard. I like to call it my spice rack, but you can keep all your foods and liquids and bits and pieces on there. It's just a nice little thing to have. But yeah, it is only available on the 600. And even if you don't go for the 600, you still got tons of room because there is, well, just loads of space in the cabinet. You can get extra drawer units as well. You'd have to talk to your local retailer because there's different sizes available, but I didn't go for any. I just went for the whole open space. And do you know what? This cupboard is actually big enough on the 600 to fit a full 36-year-old man. Don't know how I know that. No, I do. I was playing hide and seek with Quinn. And yeah, it's a good hiding spot. Just don't get trapped in there. So another thing I really liked about these cabinets is not so sort of prevalent now, to be honest. It's when it first arrives, and that is that they come pre-built. So you get a way more solid sort of premium feel to the cabinet. It's not to say that the flat pack ones that are out there aren't good. They're probably the industry standard. Most of the cabinets you get are flat pack, but this turning up fully built is certainly a nice thing because, well, there's just no thinking about it. Off the pallet, straight into your house, ready to put the tank on. Now, before getting onto the aquarium, everyone always moans when I don't talk about colours and sizing. So this is an anthracite, which is like a dark grey. Really, really like that one. They do also do a white, and they also do an oak. So there is a few different colours that you can get. Sizing wise, there is a 200, a 300, a 400, and a 600. Obviously this being the 600. So I'll pop it down in the description with like a little link so you can go and do all the measurements. Otherwise I'll be telling you it's 110 by 50 by 40. It will just take too long. So yeah, head to the description if you want to see all the different sizes. Now, coming up to the aquarium is where a few more of the exciting things are happening, and the equipment. The lighting is one of my favorite bits on this tank, but I'll also talk about the filtration as well because we haven't really covered that. I'm trying to cover equipment together, I think is the best way for you. So as weird as it sounds, starting off with the glass, and this is what they call white glass, which is essentially an ultra clear glass compared to other aquarium models. You don't get that like greeny sort of tones and hues to it. Now, when you've got an aquarium like this and it's sat on its own, it's quite hard to tell. You don't really notice it. But once you've got it in a place with like 2 or 3 other aquariums and they're set up, you can certainly see the difference from something like this, which has got like that ultra clear glass, compared to something that's got that weird sort of greeny tinge. You get a much more realistic sort of colour from all your inhabitants. And then you get this really cool sort of brushed metal effect on the bottom and the top, which leads me to the lid, which is also brushed metal. Now again, when I unpacked this, I didn't think this would be as big a deal, but they've got poppers on all the lids, so you can literally get in under there and lift the entire thing up. Now obviously this is the 600, so it has got an enormous lid on it, but it is lightweight and it's hinged at the back, so it is so easy to lift up and get out of the way. Now, if you want to on this lid, you can remove it. You can just lift the lid out of its hinges and bring it down. I don't know why you would need to, but you can if you want to. And I think that's what I like about this. It makes it so easy to do maintenance. Just press the poppers, flap it back up over the top, and you're into your tank. You can scrape it, you can clean it, you can get in there, you could do whatever you want to with very little effort of lifting, moving, shifting stuff out of the way. It's just nice. Really simple lid. I don't know why I'm so excited by it, but I am. And then if you want an easier option for when you're doing feeding or plant nutrition or anything like that, you've got a little opening there that you can just open up, chuck your food in, close it back over. The other thing that I actually think you could do with this really well is chuck an automatic feeder on it and feed through that hole if you're on holiday. So that makes life a lot easier. Now, not that you can see it, but in behind this big bit of bogwood is actually the inlet and outlet for the filter, sort of. Well, yeah, there's a drilled base on this aquarium where the inlet to the filter goes through, and then there is a dry weir box in the rear right-hand corner that the outlet from the filter comes up through and sprays the water out of. It's a very clever design, and it's, again, one of those things that they've thought of everything and tried to make everything really sleek. With the tank having a drilled base for the inlet and the dry weir box, what you end up with is this seamless look over the top. There's no cables coming over the top, there's no filter pipes. It's almost like a picture frame view of your aquarium because there's just nothing sort of sticking out or jutting out or, yeah, nothing to mess around with on the outside of the tank. Now, if you are a little bit skeptical or you've never ran a dry weir box in the back of the aquarium, it is really simple and really not that scary. So I'll attach some of the video when we actually built this aquarium, but you've got your dry weir box here and you've got your filter grill down underneath here. And I'll also link the video where we put this tank together. Now, obviously the water is being dragged in down there and returns up through the dry weir box via this pipe. Now, the good thing with the dry weir box is you can drop all your cables down in there and they go straight down to the cabinet. So this little skimmer here that's pulling in all the surface muck, runs the cable down through. My 2 light units here run the cables down through. Nothing coming outside of the aquarium, no cables on the top, no nothing. It all goes down through that dry weir box. Now, one question someone did ask me in the comments, actually I think it came up a few times, was where is your heater and why is your heater not in the aquarium? Well, if you wanted to, you could obviously run a heater in the back of here and just have the plug and cable going down through the weir box into the cabinet below. But because we run the biomass to thermo on here, that is all built into the filter itself. Whilst on the subject of filters and lighting and things like that, there are loads of different kits that you can get with these aquariums. They don't necessarily come with a kit. Not wanting to use those, but you get what I mean. They don't come as standard with you get this, this and this. You can actually pick your lighting and your filters and all of that sort of stuff. So it's best, well, because I'm talking to a global audience, it's probably best to pop into your local fish shop and have a chat with them about these aquariums and seeing what sort of kit you want to put on it. Talking of filtration, I went for the Biomaster Thermo 850. So as I was just saying about the heater is built into the back of this filter, so you don't need to worry about having that inside the aquarium. That's all in here. And then that is just the biggest filter that I could get on this aquarium. So it's ideal, really. You could buy the smaller version of this tank and have one of the bigger filters on there if you wanted to. It's totally up to you. You've just got to decide on the kit, and the lighting is the same. Again, depending on where you are in the world, it depends what kit you can get. But I went with their motion control LEDs, which I've seen them, I had heard about them, and they are awesome. The color rendition that you get from them is absolutely amazing. They make those fish really, really pop. And if you want to, you can add an aquarium controller to it, which then means you can control it via the app, which, to be fair, if I go grab my phone, I can actually show you. So this is the controller app that you get with the aquarium controller. Now I've got these 2 lights set up separately currently because of the way that I'm running it for filming. I can mess around with them independently, but if I click onto one, you can then control the warm white, the cold white, the red and the blue, all independently. So if I take this away and show you, if I drop down the warm white, you can see you get a much sort of pinker, reddy hue to the aquarium. And again, if I bring the blue up, you get a bit more of a sort of, I don't know, sunset, sunlight vibe going on. And the cool thing is with the app, it brings up this color bar at the top that roughly shows you what sort of coloration you are running in the aquarium. And that's just one of the things. If you go back to the main screen, you've also got this here, which is cloud cover. Now, if I click on that and remove the phone, in theory, you should start seeing areas of the tank dimming and then getting brighter and darker as the cloud cover goes over, because these LEDs, even though they are this long, they are controllable in small little segments which can dim and get brighter, so you can do a great amount of like funky little things with it. Now I've just set this back onto its normal timer, so we've probably got a little bit more of a yellowy light going on, which is what I quite like, but you can see the timer button in the center here, and if we click on that, you can go through here and change all of your lighting settings from sunrises to sunsets, and then the color of each one. So you can customize it as much as you want. You can then save them, you can then change them, whatever you want. Now I've got quite a long lighting period on this tank at the moment, which is probably why I'm getting a touch of algae, but I've got so many algae eaters in here, it seems to be keeping them really fat and really healthy. But the motion LEDs aren't the only ones available for these aquariums. You can get what they call their classic LED range, which I have used in several aquariums now, to be fair. And they're a much simpler LED. They're just sort of like an on and off switch sort of thing. But they do throw out a really good light rendition. The colours look good on the fish. The plants grow well underneath them. So they're still a decent LED, but they're not as sophisticated and controllable as the motion control. So it just depends where you are. Again, check with your local stores, because I don't think the classics go as big as this. So it is worth chatting to them about the different options, because these aquariums are quite customizable. So there it is, the Oase HighLine, one of my favourite aquariums. I did want to make this video about it because I've just really enjoyed this aquarium. It's not often that you get like a proper premium aquarium. Like, I've been in the trade for so long, and those top level things where everything is thought about, it's quite rare, to be honest, and I've really enjoyed looking after this. It has made it easy, it's made it fun, it's made it just really enjoyable, as sad as that sounds. But yeah, let me know what you think of the Oase 600, and also, do you think I made the right decision? I'm thinking I could have put a 400 and then maybe like a 200 beside it and done 2 different types. Or 2 300s would have been cool. Maybe that's just me thinking about it because I've got this channel and I want more aquariums, but we've got more coming up in the garage anyway, so loads more space to fill. I will see you all in the next one.